Hey everyone, it's Rebecca Ruth. Thanks for tuning in for another episode and some time with another creative today. I have Marie Claire Frederick today. Hi, Marie Claire. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm well, thank you.
That's great. That's great to hear. So I love to jump right in. So tell us where you are and what you do in the industry.
I am in Tampa Bay, Florida, here in the United States, and I am a model and actress.
Very cool. So how long have you been modeling?
I've been modeling about 12 years now.
Okay. And how did this start? How did you get into this industry? And 12 years. Okay, so that's a pretty long time. I've been in the industry for 17 years, and someone told me that I'm an OG in the industry now. So you're getting to that status yourself after 12 years.
I can understand. Being raised in the Caribbean, we're a family of seamstresses. My family can do anything from the women in my family and the men, embroidery, knit. It's like an Olympic sport. Although I did not pick up the sewing aspect of it, I think what translated to me through the bloodline is more of the fashion and the style aspect of it. Being the object or the person that showcases the garment and that has an understanding of style and fashion and how it's constructed. So I think that's how it came to me. And as I went through my schooling and my education, it's something that just simply called out to me and called out to me as what I wanted to do as a means of making income. And I had to figure out along the way how to translate that as what I love to do, what I feel is inherent of me, into something that is financially lucrative and pays for the mortgage too.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right? We got to figure out how to turn your passion into a money maker, I guess you can say. But I want to go back. First of all, what part of the Caribbean is your family from?
We're from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Okay, awesome. So I did want to talk about that a little more because fashion and sewing and making your own clothes, that kind of thing. That's very prominent in certain cultures. I know I'm from Africa, and so that is all really big in the African culture as well, and all the patterns and everything like that. So it's
I know it well.
right. Yeah. So it's not really funny to me to see all that over here, but for a lot of people who come from these cultures, it's not like you said, it's not something that like we decided to do. It kind of was it was part of who we were, whether we liked it or not, type of thing, because it was all around us and our mothers, grandmothers, aunties,
It's an energetic imprint in the bloodline.
exactly, exactly. It's such a deep part of the culture that and it's not really thought of honestly as fashion, I don't think. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's different in St. Lucia. I know in Africa, like it's not thought of like, ooh, we're doing fashion right now. It's just we're making our clothes, right?
It's that for us, and there's a I would say maybe a small English or just it's proper presentation. You are to be properly presented and groomed and coiffed at all times. Um, we are a British colony, not to invoke Her Majesty, but there's that English. I don't want to say stiff upper lip, but you are well groomed. You don't step out of the house, and that's just part of your presentation, your representation of your family, your representation of yourself, um, as you present yourself to the world, and not just to the world, but the manner in which you see yourself. That self. How would I put it? That manner in the way that we keep ourselves. That distinction in the way that we keep ourselves. The presentation of that.
Right. No, I was nodding my head because um I was raised that way too. And in the United States, it's a very old school mentality of have pride in how you present yourself to the world and also how you represent your family, because how you present yourself in the African culture represents your family as well. So I know, like, growing up, my dad would always get on us, and like he would always say it in French, and it basically translated into like, we're not savages. So put your lotion on, tuck your shirt in, comb your hair, like, all those
Yeah.
things,
S'il vous
because
plaît,
there
dis-le en
is,
français.
okay,
Say it in
oui, I
French.
forgot you speak French, right? He would always say, mais nous sommes pas des sauvages.
Amen. Amen. Comme ça, oui. Just like that.
Yeah, nous sommes pas des sauvages. We're not savages. So present yourself well. And then he would always, always, always say, wherever we went, even if it was just, I'm telling you, even to like a friend's house, like we could not even bum it out just to go visit friends.
Correct.
You it
Correct.
was, yeah, because and it's not even a pride thing. It is a pride, but in a good way. It's in a pride. It's a pride to me. It's such an engraved part of the culture to me that has stuck with me and it'll be with me for life. My friends always get on me, they're like, you're always dressed like we're just going here, we're just going there, like you don't have to. And I'm like, I don't dress for you.
No,
Right?
no.
I dress because I'm proud of who I am,
Yes.
and I'm proud of who I represent. And I represent myself, I represent my family name, I represent my father, I represent my children, you know. So that's a huge thing. So it's
Mhm.
cool to hear that it's the same. So I don't think it's just the British upper lip, although I know they
No, no,
are
no.
very big.
I just think it's also an energetic thing. No matter what you're going through, you keep yourself clean, and you keep yourself kept. And I think in doing that away from, the family, it just helps you to maintain a sense of, presence and energy, happy energy,
Absolutely.
positive energy.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So question about that though, because, in the States, size is such a big thing. And, we're getting better. We're definitely getting better with the plus size and Ashley Graham and Candace, all the curvy girls out there. But how is it in the Caribbean? Because in Africa, being a curvy girl is a good thing. It means you're eating well.
It's the same. It it bothers me to no end the projection of the waif European white prepubescent, usually female, as the standard of beauty. And that is entrenched generation after generation, when that is not the common size of a woman. And, if we want to peel back the onion, we have to ask ourselves why? Why? Do we want to go there?
I said,
um,
let's go there
you
because that's
know,
what these conversations are for.
listen, well, considering the usually Eurocentric patriarchy and their pedophilic practices, that are usually so smoothly tucked into visuals of things, um, it raises an eyebrow. It does raise an eyebrow. Why is it the 13 to maybe 21-year-old female figure that hopefully used to be our standard of beauty in America, the melting pot? Home in the Caribbean, if you're thin, you're sick. Are you sick? Why aren't they feeding you? Why aren't you eating? Is there something you would like to tell us? Are you on drugs? Um, I can definitely say, with regards to being seen as a woman and rosy and wanted and favorable, it's not the thin chicks. Um, I guess we have our guitar player in the band, but the fans aren't there for us. Um, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. The body of a woman, the curvature, um, goodness gracious, being voluptuous, that is appreciated. That is the norm. And when I came here and everybody wants to be a size zero, what is zero? Like, it's like one asparagus. Um, and I know in the modeling industry, it's something that I've had to deal with. Eating disorders, trying to physically and emotionally keep my body below a size 4 to be able to work. It had that economic link to me. If I am not this size, then I do not make income. And that's real as real for me, for my profession. I know now it's something I'm actually wrestling with because now I'm a little bit older. I'm seeing a little bit of, curve on the hips, on the thigh. I don't recognize that girl. And in my head still, it's, oh, look, you've gained weight. I am the thinnest morsel in the patch. And it's not that, but it's that mental breakdown that and strife that seeing that standard, it ingrained itself. It's like a conditioning that I have to deal with, and kind of take myself out of that and say, hey, I'm not going to force myself to not eat, to go on a diet, to exercise 3 million times a day. This is who I am. I'm not fat. And even if I were fat, what am I trying to tell my body, and what am I accepting? What message am I accepting as a woman, as a female, as what beauty is? So that mentality, we're gonna have to wrestle with the devil, and it needs to go away. It really does.
You said a whole lot. All things that I think, say all the time. I remember when I first got into this industry, I struggled with an eating disorder when I was younger. So, although I started out in this industry as a model, I quickly left it because I realized that if I had stayed as a model, I would have gone right back to that eating disorder because
Oh,
of
yes,
just the
yes,
pressure of
yes.
staying this size. And I thought to myself, I can't guarantee that I'm going to stay this size forever,
Precisely. Yeah.
for the rest of my life. On top of that, I'm not going to stop myself. Like, I'm very much now, and I got to this point of just being healthy. At the end of the day, I eat well, I exercise and all that stuff, but I'm more concerned about eating healthy than I am about the number on the scale and, things like that. I don't even keep a scale in my house because I'm very much aware of what that pressure of maintaining this size would have done to me. And so
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, like it's so hard. Like I said, the industry's getting better because we have all the big curvy girl names that are out there now. But the issue I have still with it is that the in between sizes, right? So now I'm a size 10, 12, and I've pretty much been that size for a while now, a lot of my adult life. And they tell me I'm too small to be considered plus size or curvy girl, whatever you want to call it, but then I'm
Oh,
too big to be sample size. So it's like, okay, well,
wow.
so now what? I'm
You
the
just not exist?
right. I'm like, so I'm the in between size. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, so I'm just like, meanwhile, the average woman is a
Yeah.
size 14. So I'm
Correct.
like,
Correct.
so I'm like, yeah, y'all need to fix that too, because
Mhm.
you're telling, not that I'm trying to model, I'm just saying, like, so you're telling me that from size what, like 4 to 12 is just doesn't exist. We don't, oh well.
I'm having the same thing. Rebecca, I can tell you as of this week, I got a job for a casting for a very well-known athletic brand um, that they wanted girls with a bigger chest than I had, larger hips than I had, and yeah, hips and waist. And it was like, what about like the size fives? Like I struggled to get here. I ate 2 bowls of cereal, Um, and like you said, those certain sizes, yes, thank you for finally including the bigger girls, but can we have tangible representation of everything? you know I get that there's a business aspect behind it, but if you're going to say that you are inclusive, walk the walk and have it be all things, because I know for me, economically, the economic impact, i I can't model for that brand because I'm still too thin.
Oh, you're too thin is what they're saying. Oh, because you
Yes,
don't have
I'm
the,
1 inch smaller. I'm an inch or so smaller, and then my bust are smaller and by an inch or two than what they want. You know, kudos to the girls that get it, to the
right,
curvier
right.
girls. Um, it would be nice to see more, like
Yeah.
I said, tangible inclusion as opposed to, how do they say it? There's a word that they use these days for it. I forget.
I mean,
Inclusion that's more of word than of deed.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm forgetting the word
I
myself
forget.
right now.
Um,
Um, but
performative inclusion.
there we go. Which is interesting to me because women with who are super athletic usually don't have like, a big bust and stuff. Usually, not always, but I remember when I was a runner, like I had nothing.
Gosh,
Like
wow, wow, wow.
really, the only reason why I have stuff now is because I had children. But like, so it's interesting to me that they wanted fuller girls, even though usually athletic body is very slim, like, and really not much in the bust and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Like, I understand you have to have, I guess, I don't know, like, it's back and forth for me because, when I first started, we had, it's just sample size. That's it. That's who
Yep,
we worked with, and
yep.
I brought up to my, partner at the time and stuff, well, why don't we do like a plus size? Nope, we just do sample size and da da da. And I was like, okay, but not everyone is that. And like, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, that she's too big. And I'm like, come on,
What is
you
the
know,
basis of that mentality? What is the basis of that mentality, and why was it so rejected?
to do a curvy girl.
Yeah, the bigger sizes. Why?
Because at the time it wasn't considered, attractive, it wasn't considered beautiful, it wasn't considered. Now this is like 17 years ago or 16 years ago, whatever, but it wasn't considered what people want to see. And the actual answer to me was, nobody's going to come to a fashion show with curvy girls. People don't want to see that.
Based off what foundation, though? Based off what mentality? Who was the gatekeeper that told us that and upheld it?
Yeah, see
I'm
now.
just saying, just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think you're right. I think, because I mean, honestly, I think Europe did set the standards for what we use now. And Europe is taking much longer to go into the curvy, the plus size world. They're taking much longer. Okay. And like, if you look at the European runways, you still don't see a whole bunch of like plus size. And the ones that you do see are Americans who have been, who have
Yeah,
been asked to go over there.
yeah. It's interesting to see like a dedicated refusal from the brands that want to maintain that their mission and their operating methods or their operating protocols of, this is what we do, this is who we do it with, even though, the world is more inclusive. And I think what's unique for me is that those brands are standing out as neon, you know being that they're going to go down with the ship. They're not going to change.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the old school brands, if they, I think what would make them shift is if they have new people with new mindsets, higher up in the company. But I feel like until that happens, you're gonna see a lot of the, you know, just that old school mentality. I think about like the fashion, from Europe, like the old school fashion, and it was like the cinch waist and the pale skin. Like, I don't know, for some reason, Marie Antoinette just came to my head, and like, like the white face, the cinch
Yeah,
waist,
the whoosh.
yeah, the rouge, the big breasts, like that was glamorous. That's what it was back then. And it's like you still see that mentality being carried on. And I would love to see some of the big European names get there. I think it's possible, but I think there's a long way to go for that mentality change. And also because, let's just keep it real, if you start putting um curvy girls on the runway, you're going to start seeing a lot more diversity on the runway. And
I never
some
thought
of
of
these
that.
brands, yes, because
Bring
let's think about it. Like a lot of the curvier people, girls are come from other races. So some of those brands aren't ready to do that either. Let's just keep it real.
yeah, yeah.
So yes, I'm not afraid to go there and say it. It's what it is.
No, it's very true. Because I noticed Swim Week has been a bog, and I'll just say Swim Week has always um chronically been a bog of racism. Some brands do not have penalized girls even for speaking out um about not wanting a color on their runways or in their shows. I know something happened where I think one of the models, a well known model, had to write a letter of apology because she took a picture with a group of Black models that were rejected from a show, from a casting. They went to the casting, they were told the casting was closed. After they left, the casting was continued. Now, separate from that, she happened to take a picture with that group of girls, and because of her association, by virtue of association or proxy, she was made to apologize because her association through visual hurt the brand.
I'm sorry. Is it like so? Why were they told they couldn't, or that the casting was closed just because they were black?
Friend,
Huh. Okay.
mon cher, mon cher.
And this is for Miami Swim Week.
Girl, it has been chronically this
I can't.
this lion's teeth. We're gonna have three Black girls. It's the quintessential. We're having one for the sake of, until
Just
this
to
year.
say that
It, just to
we
say
have
that we,
one. The
and even
militant black girl.
in that, the compensation for it is usually very quite questionable.
Right.
But this year, on the heels of Afro texture and Black girls were here, it was a totally different scenario. There was, it's Black power all over the place,
Of course.
um, which was good. But again, how unique the brands that are always at Swim Week, how unique that those brands were not there.
Really?
A lot of them did not represent, and they were like the higher echelon designer brands.
Because
They're
the flow
the
has changed. Interesting. Ooh, we're getting into juicy
the
stuff.
silence of their presence not being there was all the loudest thing in the world.
That's deep. I like how you said that. Yeah, that's about to be your quote.
And I'm happy for the girls that
Right.
it was such a joy, you know but at the same, you one couldn't help remembering all those brands and wondering where were they, because you're there every swim week, like you
Right.
are top echelon of brands.
Right. Right.
you know?
It's very interesting to me. Like the whole thing is very interesting. Like, I love seeing, Naomi Osaka on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That was, big, her being Haitian, of course, Haitian and Japanese, but
Yeah.
Haitian representation there and things like that. And so it's great to see that and everything like that. And then I'm thinking to myself, like swimsuits, wouldn't you want a curvy like chick in your swimsuit in your bikini? Like they fill it out really well. Like
Absolutely,
that's what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Like hello, and so that's how I think. I think wouldn't you want that? Because
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, like who like I don't know. That's just how I think. First of all, I don't discriminate. So like for me, I don't care. Like, black, white, it doesn't matter. If you look good in a bikini, you look good in a bikini. That's first of all. But for me, I'm thinking to myself, if you have a girl who's got the hips and the butt and everything, yeah, we need to get her in a bikini, yo.
Y- you know you know
It's smart,
and why
right?
isn't that the standard? Why is it still unique? when we see that on the Sports Illustrated and the swimwear? Why are we clapping for its uniqueness as opposed to just the beauty of the model?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because um, I originally was going to do a post about it, and then I had the same thought. I was like, it's great to see her, like yay for her and everything like that, but why am I highlighting something that shouldn't even need, to be honest with you, shouldn't need to be highlighted? It should
Teach and
just
preach.
be it should just be another, beautiful girl on
Correct.
Sports Illustrated. Like, it shouldn't be like we have to do this whole big highlight about it. And so I was like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to add to that conversation. So
Ah,
I'm not going to highlight this. I'm going to just clap and say awesome, beautiful, yay for being on the cover, but not add to this conversation where it should just be the norm. Like, it's not something that should need to be highlighted, that we
yeah.
have, that we have her on the cover. So I'm glad you brought that up.
It's kind
Um,
of like black bridal models. It's still it's. I'm in Florida, a destination wedding state or area, and to walk into Walgreens or CVS, it's a drugstore. I don't know if you know it. To
yeah,
walk
we
into
have both
Walgreens,
up here. Yeah.
okay, and to see the black girl on the cover and be like, yeah, sis, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. Not to. I know that she got paid, and I hope she got paid very well. Um, but I don't want to do it because she's black. I
Exactly.
want it to be normal. And Rebecca, in this day and age, it's one of my platforms as a model, um, to bring to to have more to have a prominent display of black bridal models.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
it irks me to no extent. Is my black skin, is it going to, smear the pretty white dress? Um, and we're still not there yet. And one thing I always say is that I cannot bellyache. I guess it's my duty now. What do you do? What has been your solution? How have you put your hands to the fire to make it go out? And I guess for me, it's, actually shooting bridal, going to bridal shows, offering myself to different bridal designers. You know, you cannot bellyache, and others are going to go through it as well. How do I change it? Because it's quite stark and it's unfortunate because there's the tokenism, especially in the bridal world, with regards to diversity. It's so neon, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I was talking to someone earlier who has been a model for 20 years, and she does a lot of bridal, a black woman. And we didn't get this deep into it, but I feel like she would be someone great to add to this conversation, though. I did have a question as we start winding down, because I know you have your hair, you have your hair up today, but I know you wear your hair out a lot, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so how is that? How is your hair accepted, not accepted, maybe, when you go to photo shoots?
My experience has been, oh dear Jesus, please don't let that lady come and she knows she don't know how to do my darn hair. She's gonna go like, phew, which it actually just happened just that way on my last infomercial. And you kind of squelch your laugh on the inside, on the right side of your belly, so you're not like, dear freaking God. How do you exist as a hair and makeup artist? But my experience has been, I with the natural hair, I have to do it myself. The services, competent hair and makeup artists as of late, the competence is there with regards to hair. It's still the Jim Crow South for us models here. For me, I'm in Tampa, Florida. My market, few and far between, rarely provides me with adequate and competent people to style my hair. I look on Instagram, I look on YouTube. I just had to learn how to, and I'm not a stylist myself. So I have had to learn how to do my hair and care for my hair, especially when I am on set. And even with the thrust of textured hair specialist, textured hair education, we see that, but for hair in Florida, they will they will fight lions not to do it. Like I said, a dedicated refusal to get that skill set or have that skill set be a norm. You will see the fright in their eyes when they have to touch your hair. Um, so it's still that world for us as a model, for models here in Florida. I'm in the Tampa market, the Central Florida market. Um, I have lost jobs um, because of my hair. Um, I've been told to go home. So for me, it's an economic hit, and it's open discrimination. Unequal practices in the workplace that have a detriment on me. And people, men and women with hair like mine. So hopefully, I hope the Tampa market embraces it. We have Premier, one of the largest hair shows in the States. They come, and you walk into the convention center, and everything that you see is wavy and barely curly. You see a pop of Afro here and there, but normally what they do, they only know how to cut, and they will color it. All these crazy neon purple, unicorn. And what happens with that, the financial impact also is that you are not getting paid the same as the model with the wavier hair. Your hair is not being cared for like those text people, the models that have the straighter, curlier hair is being cared for. You're being used kind of as a popper instead of as an educational tool. And then you're getting paid less for it. I hope that changes this year with Premier. I really do.
Yeah, I think you know, overall, because I haven't, I just cut my hair maybe 3 years ago. So I'm still new and I keep it short. Like, because I was gonna do the whole thing and I was like, I don't want to. I'm not a hair person. Like I hate doing my hair. So I was like, this is it. This is how it's gonna stay. But
Yeah.
like, I remember, I've gone to get my makeup done and it's just been terrible, cause and the worst thing for me is I feel like if you're going to have people of color in your show, at your photo shoot, it is your responsibility to make sure that you have the right hair make, because also it's gonna, well, I guess they'll send you home before putting you out there, but it also makes just you look bad because it's kind of like, now you're not representing your brand. So I'm like, obviously a makeup artist who is not familiar with doing makeup for someone with dark skin, she's going to get it wrong, or they're
I
going
can
to
tell
get
you
it wrong.
this.
They just are. It's
For
nothing against them. They just are.
from my
So,
area,
yeah.
I have to remember I'm still in the good old South. Ain't nothing, there's no accountability for Gemma not knowing how to do that. They will quicker send me home
She said nothing.
than send Gemma home. She's going to get paid, and I am not going to get paid.
Yeah, that's
And
terrible.
that's one thing I suggested to one of my agents. If it is the case that I go on a shoot and I have to be sent to do my own hair, uh, there needs to be some punitive assessment of that. You pay me the same fee that you were paying her, not a little $50, because I am having to provide my own service based on her incompetence to service the client.
Right. And I was gonna ask
That's where
you,
it comes in.
right.
So if
Yeah.
you need me to, I'll be happy to form that verbiage so that you can put in my contract as a clause. But we want punitive accountability. Watch. If we have that, if you charge every time Susie Q can't do black hair or she didn't get the brown makeup, whatever she charges, that comes onto my check. Watch how quickly it stops.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because now you're hitting their pockets. So yeah. I was gonna ask you, so what are some things that you're doing, but you answered it. So I think that's a start, but I think this is a much longer, deeper conversation because it's one of the things that I have I have been talking about and like championing for, just because of my own personal experience.
Yeah.
My own personal experience has really been mostly the makeup, because usually when I've been in photo shoots or something, I've usually had a weave on. And so they just, do something fun with the weave and they're like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
easy.
I've
But
been told, why didn't you bring your wig?
there you go. Yeah. So they're like, oh, you made it so easy for me. You wore a weave. And I was like, I didn't do this for you. But anyway,
The
um,
heresy.
I
Cheese
didn't do
and
it for
bread.
you. But for me, it's always been the makeup. They have always gotten the makeup just wrong. I've always looked terrible. I've always wanted to go wipe it off. This last, I was asked to do something a few months ago, and I was just like, I'm bringing my own makeup and I'm doing it myself, because every time someone does my makeup, it's always wrong. You guys never, people just never have the right makeup artists around. And don't get me, they're out there, okay? And don't act
Oh
like
yeah.
there are plenty of makeup artists who know how to do makeup for dark skin. So they are out there. It's just that these particular people don't see the advantage of investing in those makeup artists and those hairstylists. So for those of you who do photo shoots and fashion shows and they hear us, start investing. If you're
Yeah.
bringing 10 makeup artists for, white skin, for light skin, bring the same amount for the darker skin, for the natural hair, for the, all that. Like, you need to like even it out more and have people, because if I'm doing my own hair and makeup, then I'll be, quite frankly, then why am I there? If I'm doing my own
Come
hair
on, church. Come on, church.
and makeup.
See, Rebecca, let me ask you,
Yeah.
what is the solution to this? How do we know we're mad fire, pitchforks and firebrands. What's the solution? How
Yeah,
do we
but
how do
for
we change
me,
it?
what you're doing is one way to start it, because I feel like if you start hitting their pockets like that, that's going to make a change. But I think it also just comes down to, and I'm going to speak for myself here because I'm guilty of this, like actually speaking out. Like this last time, this was a couple months ago. 'Cause I don't get asked to get in front of the camera a lot, which is fine. Um, but this last time was the first time I actually spoke up and I said, no one ever does my makeup right. So will you have someone there who actually knows how to do makeup on a dark skinned woman? I flat
Yes.
out said it. I asked
Yeah.
the question. I said, because if you don't, I will be doing my own makeup. And quite frankly, if I have to come in my own makeup, then I will question whether or not I even want to be involved in this project, because you're not having someone there who can take care of me and my needs.
Equal and equitable services.
Right. You're asking me to be involved in your project, but you don't want to give me what I need, the resources that I need. So
Correct.
honestly, I think people need to start talking like that. It is a business transaction, so treat it as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
The
that.
responsibility of
Yeah,
a service that you don't do is being put on you. So why aren't you being paid for it?
exactly. Like I think that's what starts to change the narrative, is that I mean, they want you there for some reason, for a reason, whether it's to be the token black girl or whatever. They want you there for a reason. So just like other people can, demand basic things, start demanding it. And for at least a little while, it may mean saying no, or it may mean, okay, not interested, things like that. But I think that, you know, we haven't, and I'll speak for me. I feel like in my case, I haven't been standing up for myself in the past. And I've just kind of been like, whatever, like I'll just wear
Yeah.
the terrible makeup down the runway or for this photo shoot and da 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 da. I hate it. I'm
Yeah.
uncomfortable, da da da. But now I'm just like, no, like
It's
I'm
that
here, like this is ridiculous. No.
it's that agitated catalyst that needs to happen, and it needs to happen messy so things could change.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's where it starts. I think that's where any change really starts, is people standing up and saying, enough is enough, and this is one of them in this industry that just has to be done much much better, much better.
So we
So
just need to keep voicing it and let the energy of our voices
absolutely,
be the
absolutely,
change.
absolutely.
Righteous. Cool
Yes,
bean.
yes, lady. Well,
Hey, Magnifique. Voila.
I thank you so much. This has
You're
been a
welcome.
great conversation.
Thank you,
And
Rebecca,
I definitely want to chat with you more, but I thank you for coming on and sharing a little bit about, your
for the
heart and
opportunity.
yeah, your time in this industry so far.
Awesome beans.
All right, lady. Well, I will talk to you soon.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.